Okay, we're going to be looking at some more information on event handlers and triggers. So what I've done here is actually, my scene is quite a bit different from when we looked at it last. Um, I added some carpeted pictures, window over here. You see the mice are still actually out on the edges right here. And I've added some forest over here. And you can actually see if I move the forest out of the way, there's actually a witch inside the forest right here. And since I'm making this video a little bit later, there are some added elements to CoSpaces, and maybe at the end I'll add in some information about that. Um, so what we're going to do here is, if you recall the last video, we had a trigger located right here. Just going to change my angle here a little bit. This trigger right here activated the mice, which were over here, and when you walk over it, when you collide with it, it would make the mice move forward through the scene. Now the problem with that is it's fine if you have one trigger, but if you have multiple triggers, it will only activate the most recent trigger. So there is another way to do this to activate multiple triggers. So what I did, I'm just going to show you two triggers, and then actually I have a third trigger here, but I'll leave that for now. So you can see I laid another trigger down on the floor here, and if you recall from the last video, all I did was click on library, I clicked on building. I think in the last video, I think I grabbed a glass wall. All I did was hit R for rotate, and then I rotated the glass wall down and just kind of pushed it down to the ground. Hit R again, I extended it out, put the glass wall kind of over on this side right here, extended it out, and then I right click the glass wall, made the material, made it completely see-through by lowering the opacity, and then of course I clicked on code by using CodeBlocks, and I actually renamed it to trigger 2. Okay. Now I am going to actually delete this because I already have a trigger 2 sitting right here. Now where is it? So that I can locate it. Oh, there it is. Sorry, it's right there. I was having trouble finding it. And then I'm just going to dip into the code here, and I actually have the code set up, but we're going to make it from scratch. So I'm just going to click on CodeBlocks and start from here. So what we want to happen is we need to, of course, create when the camera collides with another item. Now here's where it's going to vary. Usually we do when camera collides with trigger 1 or trigger 2, but we're actually going to be using this. And you can see it's a bit different. It says when camera collides with another item right there. And I'll just trash that first one. So you have to be using this block. Now what we want to do is we are going to click on the control icon. I'm going to click on loops right here, and that will collapse that. And you can see right here, here's one of our if events. So I slide that if event out, and this is where we are going to use this another item variable right here. So when camera collides with another item, if, and I'm going to click on data, the little red icon here, if another item, you can see here is our variable, another item right here, if another item equals, and then now we have to find our triggers. So if another item equals trigger 1, so to find trigger 1, we're going to click on events, which is this little blue icon, and I'm just going to scroll down, and here it is right here under get. So if another item equals trigger 1, then I would be making all those mice move across the floor. Now you're probably thinking, oh, I don't want to write all of that out again. All you have to do from your last piece of code you wrote with the mice, which you can see is right here. Create empty list mice. Don't worry about this run parallel, that's just a little extra code. And you can see for each element in mice, all you do is you just copy that code, and you can copy this code up here too, and then you would just paste the code into here. You don't have to rewrite it. Now we can continue on. So if another item equals item trigger 1, then the mice would move across the floor, grabbing our old code there. And I'm just going to two-finger click it. I'm going to duplicate it again. If another item equals trigger 2, and where are we? Trigger 2, then, well, whatever you want. You can have, I actually had my character point out the window, and then of course you could do it again. If another item equals trigger 3, then you can have something else happen. So you can lay these triggers all on around your scene, and this will activate those triggers individually. So it's an awesome way to sort of create an interactive scene when you walk into a room and something happens, and you walk somewhere else and something happens. So I'll just show you really quickly what, I'll just leave that there for a second just so you can see it. Then I'm just going to trash it. I'm just going to show you what I did with this. So if I click play, actually I put some wind sound in it too. You can see that the first trigger is right on the floor here. So there we go, and I actually put a running animation on the mice as well, and then I made them stop, and I think it's a cleaning animation or something like that. And then if I go over here, you can see this trigger is right here, so I walk across this trigger, he says there's something in those woods, take a look, and then I walk out, and I could set another trigger here for something to happen when I look out. Now all I did here was I had the witch floating around on a path here. Yeah, and there we go. That's using multiple events, multiple triggers at the same time. So hopefully this has been helpful, and you should probably have a lot of tools now in your toolbox to start creating your interactive story.